Have you ever ordered something you didn't even want just because someone else was sitting across the table? Not because you were trying to eat healthy, not because you weren't hungry, because you didn't want to be judged. If you've ever done that, whether it was on a first date, a family dinner, or even an office lunch, drop pizza in the comments. Because today's story might make you laugh, but I promise it'll also make you think. Now, I have a confession. I've lied to more waiters than I've lied to my parents. Not huge lies. You know, the tiny ones, the ones that sound harmless. Something like, oh, I'll have the salad today. Well, no. In my head, I wanted the pizza. And then I also say, oh, just sparkling water for me, please. Really? Since when? You wanted the chocolate shake 5 minutes ago. The poor waiter thinks he's taking my order. What he doesn't know is he's actually witnessing a full-blown identity crisis. You know what the funny part is? I don't even like Caesar salad that much. Honestly, Caesar salad and I have been in a fake relationship for years now. Every time I was trying to impress someone, there it was. Lettuce, grilled chicken, parmesan cheese, the world's most boring supporting cast. Meanwhile, the pizza would arrive at someone else's table looking like the love of my life. Now, before you think, wow, this girl really loves pizza, well, I do, but this story isn't about pizza, it's about something much bigger. Because I wasn't afraid of eating pizza. I was afraid what people would think when they saw me eating it. And the night I'm going to tell you about changed the way I looked at food forever. It started with a text message, 3 simple words. Dinner tonight, please? And trust me, I thought deciding what to wear was going to be my biggest problem, but I had no idea the menu was about to become the real villain of the evening. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Fat Girl Diary. This is a place where we laugh at awkward moments, cry over the unforgettable ones, and remind ourselves that we are never as alone as we think we are. Now, where was I? Oh yes, the date. Now let me tell you something about first dates. People think the hardest question is, so tell me about yourself. Well, no. The hardest question comes much later. Especially when a man wearing a black apron walks over with a notebook, smiles politely and says, "Are you ready to order?" That's it. Game over. But before we got there, the date was actually going surprisingly well. This guy, he was funny, not fake funny, actual funny. You know, the kind of person who makes you laugh so hard that you forget you're trying to make a good impression? Yeah. Well, we spoke about travel, work, movies, bad bosses, embarrassing school stories, even our mutual hatred for people jumping off their seats as soon as the plane lands. I remember thinking, oh, this is nice. You know, for the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about my body. I wasn't wondering if he liked me. I was just present. Then the waiter arrived and said the golden words, "Can I take your order, ma'am?" And just like that, my brain left the conversation and entered survival mode. I didn't even look at the menu because I already knew what I wanted. Pizza. Not just any pizza. I wanted thin crust pepperoni pizza with extra cheese. I'd been craving it for days. In my head, I'd already taken the first bite. And then you know what happens? My date orders and he says, "I'll have the pepperoni pizza with extra cheese, please." I smiled. In my head, I wanted to say, "Me too," but instead, I heard myself say, "I'll have the Caesar salad." Yes, there it was again, my old friend, Caesar salad. Honestly, if restaurants had a loyalty program for Caesar salads, I'd probably have earned a free vacation by now. Nevertheless, the waiter nodded, took our menus, and walked away. And you know what? For a split second, I was actually relieved. I felt like, okay, I had done it. I'd ordered the right thing. I had ordered the safe thing. The thing that wouldn't make him think, oh, so that's why she's fat. And then something ridiculous happened. His pizza arrived. Golden, cheesy, perfect. And then mine, a bowl of lettuce, looking as excited to be there as I was. Instantly, he grabbed a slice of the pizza, took one bite, closed his eyes and said, "Oh my God, this is amazing. You should try a slice." And suddenly, I froze. Because this wasn't about pizza anymore. It was about permission. If I said yes, would he think, see, she couldn't resist? If I said no, I'd spend the rest of the evening staring at his plate, mourning a pizza I never ordered. So what did I do? Well, I laughed awkwardly and said, No, I'm actually trying to be healthy. Trying to be healthy? Funny, because I wasn't trying to be healthy. I was trying to be acceptable. And there is a huge difference. I wish I could tell you that that was the most embarrassing moment of the evening, but you know what? It wasn't. Because 5 minutes later, something happened that I still think about sometimes I open a menu. So, you know that feeling when you're trying really hard to look normal and then life decides to test you? Well, that happened to me. The pizza was sitting between us, hot, cheesy, perfect. He'd already offered me a slice which I politely refused. Even though every cell in my body was screaming, "Take the pizza." Instead, I stabbed another lettuce leaf. Honestly, at this point, I think even the lettuce felt sorry for me. Well, we kept talking. He was telling me about a trip he had taken to Italy. I was pretending to care while secretly wondering if he'd finished that last slice of pizza left. Then he smiled at me, picked it up and said, "You know what, girls, seriously, you have to try this." Before my brain could stop me, my hand reached out and I took the slice. That one perfectly ordinary slice of pizza. I took one bite, and for the first time that evening, I was actually enjoying my dinner. Then he laughed, not cruelly, not loudly, just casually. He looked at me and said, "I knew you wanted the pizza." That's it. That's all he said. He probably forgot that sentence even before the dessert arrived. But I didn't. Because in my head, that sentence became something much bigger. "See, you have no self-control. This is exactly why you're so fat." Now, did he actually mean any of that? Probably not. But shame has a very funny way of rewriting conversations. It takes one innocent comment and turns it into a courtroom, when you're the accused, the jury, and the judge all at the same time. I smiled, made a joke, and somehow changed the subject. The date carried on. If you'd been sitting at the next table, you probably would have thought we are having a great time. But inside, I had disappeared. I wasn't even listening anymore. I wasn't flirting anymore. I was replaying one sentence over and over again. "I knew you wanted the pizza. I knew you wanted the pizza. I knew you wanted the pizza." The date ended with a hug. He casually said, "Let's do this again sometime." I smiled and I said, "Sure, I'd love that." Then I got into my cab, and the first thing I did was open a food delivery app. Not because I was hungry, because I was still thinking about the pizza. I never allowed myself to eat. I ordered the exact same one. Extra cheese, garlic bread, chocolate mousse, the whole thing. I reached home, changed into my pajamas, and then the moment arrived when my pizza was perfectly hand-delivered. And guess what? I ate every bite alone. No pretending, no salad, no audience. Just me and the meal I'd wanted all along. Looking back, I don't think I was eating because I was hungry. I think I was eating because for the first time that evening, I didn't feel like I was being watched. And that broke my heart. Because somewhere along the way, I'd convinced myself that I needed to be alone to eat the food I actually loved. Have you ever realized the most honest version of yourself only comes out when nobody else is looking? That's not freedom, that's survival. And I had been surviving for a very long time. But here's what I didn't know then. The biggest person judging me that night wasn't sitting across the table. She was actually sitting inside my own head. And that's the person I needed to stop listening to. You know what happened the next morning? That guy actually texted me and he said, I had a great time yesterday. That's it. No mention of the pizza, no mention of the salad, no mention of my weight. Nothing. In fact, he asked me if I'd like to meet him again. I stared at that message for a long time because I'd spent the entire night convincing myself that he had judged me. And yet, there he was planning a second date. That's when something hit me. Maybe he wasn't the one judging me. Maybe I had spent so many years expecting people to judge me that I'd started finishing their sentences for them. Someone looks at your plate, you think, they're judging me. Someone asks, is the food good? You hear, should you really be eating that? Someone laughs and somehow your brain turns it into evidence against you. It's exhausting, friends. Because you're not just having dinner, you're also writing an imaginary script in your head. And guess what? You're the villain in every version. Honestly, if overthinking burnt calories, I'd have been a supermodel by now. But here's the thing. Not every fear is imaginary. Some comments are real. I've heard them. Maybe you have too. You're eating all that? Should you have dessert? I thought you were on a diet. Those words stay with you. And after hearing them enough times, you stop needing other people to say them. You become your own commentator. Every meal comes with live commentary. Really? Bread? Second helping? You've already eaten today? Imagine living with someone who criticized you every time you ate. You'd leave. But when that voice lives inside your own head, where do you go? That night wasn't memorable because of the pizza. It was memorable because I realized something. I had spent years trying to convince other people that I was disciplined, that I had self-control, that I wasn't the fat girl. And in the process, I'd forgotten to ask myself a much simpler question. Was I enjoying my life? Because what kind of life is it when you're sitting across from someone you really like, laughing, sharing stories, and the loudest voice at the table is the one telling you not to eat the pizza? Not because pizza solves everything, but because your happiness is worth more than someone else's assumption. And if one slice of pizza is enough to change the way someone sees you, they probably weren't looking at the right things to begin with. Because the best part of that evening was never supposed to be the food. It was supposed to be the conversation. And I almost missed it because I was too busy trying to become someone else's version of acceptable. You know, I've replayed that dinner in my head more times than I'd like to admit. Not because the guy was decent. Remember he messaged me the next day? And he didn't even break my heart, technically. I replay it because I wish I could go back. Not to meet him again, no, definitely not. But to meet her again. The version of me sitting across the table, studying the menu like it was an exam, trying so hard to be the right kind of woman. I'd like to sit beside her, smile and say, "Hey, stop worrying. He's looking into your eyes. You're the only one looking at your plate." I'd tell her, "Order the pizza, girl. laugh a little louder, eat the garlic bread. If you want dessert, have the dessert as well. Because if one meal changes how someone feels about you, they were never falling for you in the first place. They were falling for an illusion. And honestly, if a man can't handle a woman enjoying pizza, he definitely can't handle her during PMS. So really, the pizza was doing me a favor. I spent years believing confidence would arrive after I lost weight, after I reached the right size, after people stopped looking at me. But confidence is very funny. It doesn't arrive one morning with a smaller dress size. It arrives the first time you stop apologizing for taking up space. The first time you stop saying, "I'll just have the salad," when all you really want was the pizza. Do I still overthink sometimes? Of course, I'm human. Some days that little voice still whispers, "Maybe don't order dessert." The difference is now I answer back. I tell myself, "Thanks for your opinion, but we are having cake today." Because here's what I've learned. Food isn't a personality trait. Pizza doesn't make you lazy. Salad doesn't make you virtuous. Chocolate cake doesn't make you a failure. They're just food. We've spent so much of our lives attaching guilt to our meals that we've forgotten something incredibly simple. A meal is also a memory. Think about your happiest moments: birthday cake, festival sweets, midnight ice cream with your best friend, your mother's biryani, your grandmother insisting, "Take one more spoon." None of those moments become special because of the calories. They become special because of the people. So if you're listening to this today, and if you've ever hidden what you really want to eat, or felt embarrassed ordering dessert, or laughed off a comment that secretly hurt, I want you to remember one thing. You don't owe anyone a performance. Not on a date, not at an office lunch, not at a family dinner, not even at your own dining table. Order what makes you happy, eat without rehearsing, laugh without calculating, live without constantly wondering who's watching. Because one day you'll realize something. The people who truly loved you never remembered what was on your plate. They remembered that you were there. So friends, if this story reminded you of someone, or maybe reminded you of yourself, do share this episode. Because somewhere there's another woman staring at a menu, about to order a salad she doesn't even want. Maybe she'll hear this, close the menu, smile, and finally say, "I'll have the pizza."